Shalom, shalom lekulam. We're back studying the itty bitty yud, and we've already seen in the first lesson that the yud as a prefix marks the third person masculine imperfect. He will do something. We've begun to investigate the yud as a suffix, and we see that it's a personal pronoun, possessive pronoun for my, first person. We will see that the first person is also attached to some prepositions with the yud, just as we saw the vav makes him. So to him goes with the lamed and the vav lo to him, and the bet goes with the vav bo in him. We saw that the hey, la, makes to her and ba makes in her, and so it will be with the itty bitty yud. Let's look at our first examples.
Bereshit Yud Bet Pasuk 19, Genesis 12, verse 19. Lama amarti achoti hi ve'akach ota li leisha va'ata hine ishtecha kach valech. Shmuel Aleph Perek Esrim Pasuk 8. 1 Samuel chapter 20 verse 8. Va'asita chesed al abdecha ki bevrit Yahweh heveta et abdecha imach ve'im yesh bi avon hamiteni ata va'ad avicha lama ze tavi'eni.
In the first example, Abraham is trying to pass Sarah off as his sister instead of his wife. And we see one yud there that is for my, achoti, my sister. We see a hey there with a dagesh, ota, that is the direct object marker with the personal pronoun for her. I took her and then li, to me. Actually, this is the Pharaoh speaking, and he's saying, you said to me, she is my sister. In other words, those were Abraham's words, my sister. And I took her, that is Sarah, li, to myself, leisha, for a wife. In the second example, David is on the lam running away from Saul, and he meets up with Jonathan. And here he says, he's reconfirming his oath. He says, look, you and I have an oath from Yahweh between each other. And he says, if you find any sin in me, that is the preposition bet, in, and the yud for me, be, in me.
Mizmor Yud Chet Pasuk 40. ותעזרני חיה למלחמה, תחיה קמי תחתי. שמואל ב' פרק 22, פסוק 37. תרחיב צעדי תחתני, ולא מעדו קרסולי.
The next preposition that we're looking at is tachat, which means under. Or it can also mean instead of. In both these cases, it means literally under, but we see two different forms of it. The first verse has tachtai. It's just tachat with kamatz and the yud added. That means literally under me. In the second verse, we see tachteni, and so we see not only the yud added there, but also the nun and the yud, and we're going to see many examples of this for not only for prepositions, but also when we get to the direct object, when the direct object of the verb is me and it's attached to the verb, but that is for another lesson.
Bereshit Yud Dalet Pasuk 24, Genesis 14:24. בלעדי רק אשר אכלו הנערים, וחלק האנשים אשר הלכו איתי, הנר, אשכול וממרא, הם ייקחו חלקם. בראשית ל"ט פסוק 7, Genesis 39, verse 7. ויהי אחר הדברים האלה, ותישא אשת אדוניו את עיניה אל יוסף, ותאמר שכבה עמי.
In the third example, we see two different words that mean with. One of them is Aleph Tav, and we've already said that this Aleph Tav, which means with, will conjugate differently than the Aleph Tav that means the direct object marker. We'll see that in the next slide. So here, Abraham has gone off, he's conquered these kings, he's rescued Lot, and he is offered all the plunder, and he says, no, I'm just going to take whatever these young men who have gone with me, et. The other word for with is im, ein mem, and here we see Potiphar's wife is trying to get Joseph to have relations with her, and so she says, shachra imi, please lie with me.
Shmuel Bet, Perek 22, Pasuk 20. 2 Samuel 22:20. V'yotze lemerchav oti, yilchatzeni ki chafetz bi. Yeshayahu Mem Tet, Pasuk 16. Isaiah 49, verse 16. Hen al kapayim chakotich, chomotayich negdi tamid. Breshit Tet, Pasuk 12. Genesis 9, verse 12. Vayomer Elohim, Zot ot habrit asher ani noten beini uvenechem uven kol nefesh chaya asher itchem ledorot olam.
Our last set of examples starts with a verse from 2 Samuel in David's hymn of praise after he's been delivered from all his enemies. And he says, you have brought me into a Y place. So the verb yotze is you have brought me, and then you have brought, and then the direct object marker Aleph Tav, and the ending that goes on that for me, OT. Remember in the last slide we saw with me is ET, it's Aleph Tav and a Yud, and but the vowels are different, okay? So this is OT. That's a direct object marker for me. In the second example on this slide, we have a beautiful verse from Isaiah that Yahweh says, your walls, the walls of Jerusalem, are ever before me. The preposition there is neged, which means, it can mean against in a literal sense, like fighting against somebody in a war, but it can also just mean across from. And here, the idea of negdi, before me, is that I'm always looking, I'm always watching, they're always across from my eyes, the walls of Jerusalem. The last preposition that we're going to look at today is between, which is ben. And we have a word which is ben, which is just bet nun, which means son, and I'm sure you know this word. But when there's a yud between the bet and the nun, then it means between. And Yahweh's making this covenant between himself and Noah, all the people with Noah, and every living thing. And the first between is beni, so it has that yud on it, between me. And the second one is benechem, and that is between all y'all. And the final ben that we see there is every living thing, called nefesh chaya. So it's worth noting here that in Hebrew, when you have a between, every person that's involved in the betweenness, between me and you and him and them, is going to have that bain attached to the word. They say between me and between thee. In English, we just need one between you and me. But in Hebrew, there's a bain there. Remember, the yud is between the vet and the nun for every person that's included in the group. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you. In the meantime, tasim et ha'inayim al hashamayim, keep your eye on the sky. Your redemption draweth nigh. Shalom.